Good evening. Welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and we hope that you fared well through the storm. It is good to be back, and might I say a hearty congratulations to WAPA for their outstanding work on getting us back on track. We go now to Wes Small, who's on the boardwalk of St. Croix, where Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. addressed the territory.
A 2 o'clock press conference was held about the restoration of Hurricane Omar right here on the docks in Christiansted, headed by Governor John DeYoung. Right now, let's go to that very important press conference so that we can keep you updated on the situation following Hurricane Omar.
I wanted to take this opportunity to sort of give a comprehensive overview as to what's taken place and what is happening with the various agencies. Joining me here today is the Lieutenant Governor Greg Francis, Hugo Hodge of the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, Darrell Smalls, Commissioner of Public Works, the Director of Enforcement for Planning and Natural Resources, Carlos Farchetti, and our federal partner for Commander of Sector San Juan, the Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard, Mr. Captain Eduardo Pena. This is day 5 of our efforts towards the recovery from Hurricane Omar. And as of today, I've lifted the curfew. So there's no longer a curfew that is in place with respect to activity. And I want to, especially since we're making progress on the restoration of the electricity, I realize that for many on the east end and on the western end of the island, there's still a concern, they're still without power, and we ask for your patience. But I'd like to compliment the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, the police department, for the tremendous effort that they've done in terms of restoring electrical power. And based on that, I think it's unnecessary for us to have the curfew any longer, and that we can allow for the free flow of all activity. The schools are back open. In St. Croix today, there was a mini quest with our teachers. So school was closed today. As of tomorrow, it will be back open. On St. Thomas, everything is back to normal order. Government workforce is back in place, so everything as of right now is back the way it should be. In addition to the work that we've done with the government, I have asked the Commissioner of Tourism, in conjunction with VITEMA Director Mark Walters and Loretz Mills, to start focusing on our business community, to start looking at the impact that they began to feel, also for our homeowners, because I think that's an area that we have to focus a little bit more on to find out what may have happened and to give them a vehicle. So in the next couple, in a day or two, we will be announcing the best way with respect to those organizations and individuals getting information to us, and we'll be putting out information as to how they can access SBA and FEMA with respect to any requirements that they have. In the last couple of days, we had a couple of shifts. Public Works has begun to focus now a lot more on cleaning of the roads, making sure the debris is collected, addressing the fallen trees. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority also shifted slightly to make sure that our schools were ready to be open for the mini quest of today, but also the other schools within the District of St. Croix to make sure that they're addressed. Mr. Hodge will give a much more comprehensive update in a second, so will Commissioner Smalls, but what you'll find is that we're about 90% there with respect to the restoration of our power on St. Croix. That in addition to the work crews that we've had on St. Croix, has been supplemented by our linemen from St. Thomas that have come over. Again, we recognize that the east end and the western end of the islands, or certain pockets, still require a tremendous amount of attention, and we ask those residents to bear with us as we address that, and that is a priority for the authority in terms of making sure that that's addressed. I'll also ask Mr. Farchetti and Captain Pena to come up and give an update with respect to what's happening in the marine industry. As we sit here, as we're here on the boardwalk, the tremendous impact that took place, both in terms of the number of vessels from here all the way to the St. Croix Yacht Club, over 40 sunken vessels that will be addressed. And I'll leave it to those two gentlemen to give us much more of an update. But that is why I've asked the VITEMA Director, in conjunction with the Commissioner, to begin to address how do we go to SBA and use SBA as the funnel to begin to address the needs of the marine owners, particularly those businesses that were impacted and their vessels are here. In the next couple of days, as I mentioned earlier, we will come out with more information as to how our homeowners and our businesses can access that. So having said that, what I'd like to do is call in the following order. First, Executive Director Hugo Hodge to give us an update, then Commissioner Smalls, then Captain Pena for U.S. Coast Guard, and then Mr. Farschetti for Planning and Natural Resources.
Good afternoon. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority are making significant progress here in St. Croix. Before I talk about St. Croix, I'll start with St. Thomas and St. John. They're 100% up and running. All the outages have been corrected. Everything's been taking place in St. Thomas and John already. As far as St. Croix, we ended yesterday with about 31.5 megawatts on the system, which we peak usually on Sunday about 40 megawatts. So we're at about 80% as of yesterday, and today we've made some good progress. So I believe we will maintain our goal of getting to 90% by the end of business today. The guys have been working from about 6:30 in the morning, going till late night every night, and they've been coming in, getting a little bit of rest, and going at it the next day again. We brought so far 30 guys from St. Thomas over. We brought 20 initially. We brought 10 more yesterday, as well as bucket trucks, line trucks, and other types of equipment, so we can speed and keep this process going as fast as possible. The governor mentioned we have pockets on the eastern part, on the western part of the island that are heavily affected, and those will be the ones that take the longest to be restored. We have a couple of isolated areas in the central part of the island, Catherine's Rest and whatnot, that we're working on today, and we hope to get most of those rectified as soon as possible. On the eastern part of the island, the reason it's going to take a little bit longer for those areas, as well as on the west, is that whereas in the central part, which is densely populated, when you build 2-3 spans of wire and you get 200, 300 customers back up with that effort, now you're talking about highly separated areas, and you build 2 spans of line and get 1 customer on, 2 customers on, 5 customers on. So it takes a little bit longer to get all the customers attended to in that area. But we're working hard to do so, and the guys deserve a lot of credit for how they've stepped forward and joined hands, all 3 islands together, and getting the restoration process underway. We did shift yesterday toward the schools to make sure we can get the students back in tomorrow. When the day started, we had 5 schools that still needed attention. I believe they're all corrected and rectified right now. I'll confirm that when I leave here, but they will be corrected today, so they all can get into school tomorrow. There's also some work being done at UVI, and we should be finishing that up today. They have made some repairs on their end of the underground feed, one of their 3 feeds. Once that corrected, we'll energize that as well, and they'll be ready to go for classes tomorrow in full swing, where they can do their video conferencing classes. But we are making significant progress, and we're doing so, and we're going to continue to do so. And the guys from St. Thomas will stay here and remain here until we get all the power restored to the last customer. Thank you.